What do you make, Mark Meadows? I think this is a big report by Catherine Herridge, and also big news by John Solomon, but Catherine Herridge, what we've already known, that what James Comey testified to in October 2016, the Russian lies of Hillary Clinton that were paid for were in fact unverifiable. Now they're going deeper. Now we know that this woman Kavlak over at the State Department. Now we know that Bruce Orr, because of your interrogation and Jim's interrogation behind closed doors, they all said they warned Comey. They warned the FBI. They told them everything about the dossier being phony, and they used it as the bulk of information to get the warrant to spy on the campaign of Trump anyway. Where's that taking us?
Well, what we see is James Comey went through not only yellow flashing lights, but he went through red stoplights to try to get this president and indict this president. And I can tell you that not only the good work that Catherine Herridge reported in terms of what we're seeing, what we knew, but we know that Christopher Steele not only was talking to the DOJ, was talking to the FBI, was talking to the media, was talking to the State Department. He was talking to anybody who would listen.
He was trying to talk to Mueller through Orr. He was sending messages to the special counsel's office.
He was sending up smoke signals everywhere trying to get somebody to take this particular story that was false. The FBI knew it was false. They knew they had credibility problems, and yet they continued to spy on American citizens.
But Jim Jordan, didn't he say, Comey, that he doesn't spy? That sounds like spying
Sean,
to me.
Here's why Catherine's story is so important, why people are coming forward in Mr. Horowitz's investigation. The reason they're coming forward is because there's a new sheriff in town. That's Bill Barr. And Bill Barr has announced he's going to get to the bottom. Never forget what he said. We talked about this on your show. He said there was a failure of leadership at the upper echelon of the FBI. He said spying occurred. He said there's a basis for his concern about the spying that took place. And he used terms that should scare every American: unauthorized surveillance and political surveillance. And he and John Durham are going to get to the bottom of it. And that's why people are coming forward in Michael Horowitz's investigation.
Tonight, immigration authorities are standing ready to deport 1 million illegal migrants who already have pending removal orders.
All the way through an extremely generous due process pipeline, had removal orders, they don't leave, that are still awaiting removal by ICE. And the president commented, I don't call these raids. I would agree with him. This is just what ICE is supposed to do.
Yeah, you know what? This is what ICE is supposed to do. I mean, partly what it's supposed to do. It actually does a whole lot of things. But it is supposed to do this, and it has done this, certainly under many, many administrations. This isn't the only one, okay? But the Democrats are now out there crying foul. You know, they might be surprised to learn, and we're going to inform them here tonight, that the highest number of deportations actually came back in 2012, and that was during the Obama administration, when ICE removed about 410,000 migrants. President Obama. Joining me right now, former acting ICE Director Tom Homan, who was part of that, I guess. Tom, you know, it's good to see you again. I just want to clarify one thing, right? The cages, the detention centers, they were all there under President Obama? President Obama deported 410,000 people?
409,818 to be exact, something like that. But yeah, the facilities that we're using today, including the so-called cages, were built under the approval, funding, and planning under the Obama administration. I was there.
Okay. So you wouldn't know that when you listen to the media right now and when you listen to Democrats in Congress right now, right? I mean, it's almost as though this president is the very first one in the history of the United States of America to actually be trying to enforce our borders.
No, absolutely. You know, last 3 years on the Obama administration, when I ran interior enforcement operations, we arrested and removed almost right around 1 million illegal aliens from this country. And you didn't hear a lot from, you know, the Senate, the Democratic leadership in Congress. You know, we did our job. And ICE, I've been saying for months, ICE needs to get out there and do it again. Then you do a nationwide operation, seek out those people that have had due process, especially family units, because, you know, over 100,000 of them have final orders. They're ready to go. They've had their day in court. The judge said they got to go. We have to do this. You know, there's no integrity in the entire system.
Yeah, and you need that, right? I mean, as a country, otherwise I think you run the risk of continuing to encourage this. I mean, why not come here? Especially, look, I mean, if in 2020 you see one of these Democrats that's promising open borders, free health care, free education, why not come here?
Well, look, that's a problem. Central American families keep coming because 90% of them, 90% of family units from Central America do not get relief from an immigration judge because their claims are fraudulent. But none of them are leaving. So what Central America, they're seeing now in Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, they're seeing all these people leave and no one's coming home. So ICE has to go do a nationwide operation. I did this back again in the Obama administration. I did this in FY15. We went and found family units that had due process. We put them on airplanes. We sent them south. And guess what happened?
What?
The numbers on the border dropped dramatically.
What's the word catches on? Is that
Yeah,
what you're telling me?
because
I
once
mean,
we
it
show them
catches
that-
on in those communities and they say, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not so good to go to America right now, to the U.S. anyway, because you're going to get put on a plane and sent home?
Yes, consequence and deterrence are meaningful. I think we learned that as children. If there's bad behavior, if there's a consequence and a deterrence, the bad behavior usually subsides, and that's what we need to prove. We need to prove we're a country of laws, and we're going to stand by those laws.
Let me ask you about another story in the news that's in your sphere right now, because the Washington Post is reporting that ICE and the FBI are actually working together using state driver's licenses, those databases, for facial recognition searches, and they're scanning through millions of photos without the license holder's consent or knowledge. Now, ICE says it doesn't comment on investigation techniques, but is that perhaps partly how they're trying to track down people, or is that not the case in your view? Walk us through what this might be.
Well, when I was the ICE director, okay, I'm not going to get into specific techniques we use, but when I was the ICE director, technology like that, let me just say this, technology like that is used for criminal investigations, not for administrative immigration enforcement. So like a half of ICE is Homeland Security investigations. They did 34 criminal arrests last year, terrorism, gun trafficking, drug trafficking, opioids, child predators. So they conduct criminal operations, and as part of that criminal operation, they use sophisticated techniques. I'll leave it at that. Okay. But as far as administrative, looking for someone here illegally, that type of technology was not used when I was a director, and I doubt it's being used today.
Okay, but somebody who's here illegally who maybe committed a crime. I mean, don't forget that the president said he was not so interested in just rounding up families, right? Or people that were law-abiding citizens, albeit that's a little bit of an oxymoron, because if you're here illegally, you're not necessarily law-abiding, nor are you a citizen. That said, if you want to get the bad ones first, is this a technique that can be used?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying it can't be used. I'm saying right now the focus is on criminal operations, criminal charges, and criminal indictments. But it certainly can be used, and I won't say it will be used in the future. It may be. But I want to just set the stage that right now the prioritization is criminals, and HSI uses more sophisticated technology because of criminal operations. But ERO, the other side of the house that does the administrative immigration investigations, they use a lot of technology too, and different technology for different reasons, but they're very good at what they do. And that's why if they do this nationwide operation, they're going to use a myriad of databases to try to locate these people that are in hiding.
Tom, good to see you tonight. We'll keep checking in, okay?